Venus, the hellish world that might once have been a paradise. For decades, Venus has loomed in our sky as a brilliant, mysterious beacon, the morning star and the evening star. Yet behind its shining facade lies a tortured world, cloaked in thick clouds of sulfuric acid and seared by a runaway greenhouse effect that has turned its surface into a burning inferno. Recent attention has surged around the planet once more, not only due to advances in atmospheric studies and active volcano discoveries, but also because of newly declassified photographs taken by Soviet space probes during the Cold War, images that had remained hidden from the world for over 40 years. A legacy unearthed, the hidden Soviet photos. In a stunning turn of events, the quiet release of never-before-seen Soviet photographs of Venus has sent ripples through the scientific community. These are not merely dusty relics of the space race. They offer a window into a world that, for all its apparent hostility, bears eerie traces of a very different past. Renowned physicist and popular science communicator Michio Kaku has been vocal about the significance of these images. In a recent presentation to astronomers and futurists, he showcased what appear to be geological features suggestive of ancient water erosion, polished rocks, sinuous channels, and terrain that strongly resembles the remnants of dried riverbeds. Kaku emphasized that these revelations could redefine our understanding of Venus's geologic history and climate evolution. But why were these photographs kept secret for so long? Some speculate that the Soviet Union, deeply entrenched in Cold War rivalry, deemed the data strategically valuable. Others argue the Soviet leadership feared the implications. What if Venus, like Earth, once harbored oceans, and perhaps even primitive life? The Venera saga, a triumph of engineering against nature. The exploration of Venus was one of the Soviet space program's greatest and least appreciated triumphs. Beginning in the early 1960s, the Venera program represented a daring technological onslaught on the solar system's most inhospitable terrestrial world. Unlike the American focus on the Moon and later Mars, the Soviets chose Venus not only for scientific curiosity, but also to claim unique victories in the cosmic chess game with NASA. At the time, landing on Venus, a planet hotter than Mercury despite being farther from the Sun, seemed a near impossible task. Venera 7 became the first spacecraft to transmit data from the surface of another planet in 1970. Despite flipping over on impact, it relayed vital temperature and pressure readings, confirming Venus as an infernal world, over 480 degrees Celsius and a pressure 92 times greater than Earth's. Later missions, particularly Venera 13 and 14, would go further, sending back the first color images ever taken from the surface of another planet. Snapshots of an alien wasteland, strewn with rocks and lit in an eerie orange glow from the thick, sulfurous sky. Yet, many photographs remain classified, hinting at something more than bleak geology. The ones that have emerged show unusual rock formations, strange textures, and, according to some geologists, signs of once flowing water. These clues, long ignored or hidden, are now being re-examined with fresh eyes and modern tools. Venus's violent climate shift, from water world to hellfire. Could Venus have once looked more like Earth? The idea is not as far-fetched as it once seemed. Planetary scientists believe Venus might have had oceans for up to 2 billion years. If true, it would mean that Venus not only lay within the Sun's habitable zone, but may have remained habitable for longer than Mars. However, without a magnetic field to shield its atmosphere, Venus slowly lost its water to space. Solar UV radiation broke apart water molecules in the upper atmosphere, allowing hydrogen to escape. As water vanished, carbon dioxide, once trapped in rocks and oceans, was released into the atmosphere. A tipping point was reached. A runaway greenhouse effect spiraled out of control. Heat became trapped under thickening clouds, and temperatures soared to a point where even lead would melt. Volcanic eruptions may have further compounded the problem, releasing more CO2 and sulfur dioxide into the skies. Signs of recent volcanic activity and a dynamic planet. Contrary to earlier assumptions of a geologically dead world, recent findings, including from Japan's Akatsuki orbiter and the historical Magellan mission, have confirmed that Venus is still geologically alive. Infrared imaging has revealed heat anomalies on the surface that could indicate active lava flows. Changes in sulfur dioxide concentrations in the upper atmosphere suggest recent volcanic outgassing. Some volcanoes appear to be no more than a few 100,000 years old, a blink in geological terms. The idea of recent volcanism was bolstered in 2023 when NASA researchers studying Magellan data discovered changes in the shapes of volcanic vents that occurred over just 8 months, suggesting an active eruption had taken place during the mission's orbit. Venus, far from being a dead world, may still rumble. The phosphine mystery and the hope for life. In 2020, astronomers detected something unexpected in Venus's upper atmosphere. Phosphine, a gas that on Earth is almost exclusively produced by microbial life in oxygen-poor environments. Although debated, and with some suggesting alternative chemical pathways, the phosphine detection rekindled interest in the possibility of aerial microbial ecosystems. Venus's cloud decks, 50 to 60 kilometers above the surface, are far more temperate, 30 to 50 degrees Celsius, and have pressures comparable to Earth's sea level. Could microscopic life forms be drifting in Venus's acidic clouds, protected from the searing heat below? If so, this would redefine what we consider a habitable environment and expand the possible types of biospheres across the cosmos. Venus, a mirror for Earth's future? Michio Kaku and other scientists have pointed to Venus as a potential cautionary tale. Earth and Venus are often called sister planets due to their similar size and composition. Yet their climates diverged catastrophically. Venus now serves as a natural laboratory for studying climate systems gone awry. Could Earth one day follow Venus's path? While Earth has a magnetic field and plate tectonics, both of which help regulate carbon cycles, the current trajectory of anthropogenic climate change has raised serious concerns. A runaway greenhouse effect like that on Venus is not imminent, but the planet's history shows how quickly habitable conditions can vanish. Venus reminds us that habitability is fragile. What lies ahead? Future missions and a new era of exploration. Excitement about Venus is resurging. In the coming decade, NASA plans to launch 2 ambitious missions, Da Vinci Plus and Veritas, to study the planet's atmosphere and geology in greater detail. The European Space Agency's Envision mission will complement these efforts, and even Russia has teased a potential return with Venera D. These missions aim to answer fundamental questions. Was Venus ever habitable? What triggered its climate catastrophe? Is there microbial life hidden in its clouds? They also aim to recover what the Soviet Venera mission started. For decades, the Venera probes stood alone as humanity's only physical emissaries to Venus's surface. It is time we build on that legacy. #, conclusion. A world of secrets yet to be revealed. Venus is not just a hellish planet. It is a place of paradox, once potentially blue and wet, now dry and burning. It is a planet whose mystery is only deepening with time. The declassified Soviet images, long shrouded in Cold War secrecy, are more than just photographs. They are clues in a story still unfolding, of climate catastrophe, possible lost oceans, and the delicate balance that determines whether a planet becomes paradise or purgatory. We look to Venus not because it is habitable, but because it shows us what happens when a habitable world goes wrong.